Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today we're reacting to how Mata Parvati taught Ganesh a lesson. So I decided to choose this one just because I have no idea who Mata Parvati is. Parvati. I thought I said it a little bit different earlier. But anyways, what lesson did she teach Ganesh? Let's go and get started.
You see, Ganesh, this is the Smriti scripture, the scripture of lower authority, but see the power. Ganesh is a 3-year-old boy, and he loves his mommy. And his mommy says, "My boy, you must become clever. Go to the kindergarten and learn the alphabet." And Ganesh says, "Yes, mommy." He's an obedient boy.
I will say this real quick. He absolutely loves kids. There's no doubt there because he always talks about kids quite a bit.
Sure, all of you are like that. That's why you're here, surely. They're both nodding away. So Ganesh was told, "Go to the kindergarten, become clever like other children. I want my son to be clever," said the mother goddess Parvati. So Ganesh is sent off to the kindergarten. He learns the first few letters of the alphabet. He comes home, he's excited. "Mommy, mommy, play with me." All children do that. 3-year, not you now, it's too late. 3-year-old, they always say, "Mommy, play with me." When they go home, they must play with the mommies. And mommies are always busy. And the mother goddess Parvati is also busy cooking. She said, "Can't you say I'm busy? Play by yourself." Standard stuff for every family, in every family, same old problem. Even mother goddesses are busy cooking and cleaning. "Go and play by yourself, Ganesh," said mother goddess. So Ganesh said, "All right." He went to the garden. So the neighbor's cat sitting on the fence, waving his tail. And Ganesh said, "Cat, I'm going to play with you. The game we're going to play is called the game of school. I am going to be the teacher and make you clever like me, cat. I am going to teach you the first 3 letters, the alphabet," said Ganesh. Because he had only learned 3 letters, so he can't teach anymore. "I'm going to make you clever like me, so repeat after me the letters of the alphabet and be clever like me, cat." And the poor cat sitting on the fence just waved his tail, saying, "I don't know what he's on about." Ganesh said, "Repeat after me, A." And the cat went, "Meow." And the Ganesh said, "Not clever, not clever, naughty cat, not, you're not going to be clever like me, horrible cat. Repeat after me the first 2 letters of the alphabet, A, B." And the cat went, "Meow, meow." Ganesh said, "You're being deliberately difficult, student. I don't like difficult students. I'm a tough teacher." Ganesh already picked up the things about school. "If you don't behave yourself, cat, I'm going to punish you." The cat just waved his tail. Ganesh said, "Repeat after me, A, B, C." And the cat went, "Meow, meow, meow." Ganesh said, "This is getting out of hand now." Now, you see, he's quite a rough chap. He picked up the cat and gave it 3 thumbs. And Ganesh is quite heavy-handed. He's the son of the mother goddess, so his hand is quite heavy. Gave it 3 whacks. Whack, whack, whack. The cat said, "This is a ruffian. I don't want to play with this rough boy." Ran away. Ganesh said, "What to do? My student has run away. I can't play the game of school anymore. Let me go back in the kitchen." He went to the kitchen. He saw the mother goddess Parvati there, standing there. And Parvati was bleeding. And Ganesh loves his mommy. If anybody hurts his mommy, Ganesh gets mad. Forget about the cat. He picked up his gada. He said, "Mommy, who has done this to you? Tell me, I will destroy." The little chap has got a little gada. He's going to destroy anybody who hurts his mommy. I'm sure all of you do that. "Mommy, who has..." No, you won't do that. I'm worried about your mommy now. "Mommy, who has done this to you?" Mommy said, "Come here, my boy." "What were you doing just now?" Mommy was looking very angry. Ganesh said, "I was playing in the garden." "Who were you playing with?" asked the mother goddess. "I was playing with a cat." Mother goddess asked next, "Did you hurt the cat, my boy?" Uh-oh, went Ganesh. Trouble. He said, "Just a little." He hurt the poor cat quite heavily. Mother goddess said, "Come here, my boy. This is the most important lesson in your life. I, as the mother of the universe, the mother goddess, live in every living thing. It is I alone who live in every human being, every living thing, every animal. It is I alone who live everywhere. If you hurt or harm any living thing, you hurt me, my boy." And I said, "Oh, I never knew my mommy lives everywhere. I will never hurt or harm any living thing ever again," said Ganesh.
Real quick then, with that statement, would would she be living in Ganesh as well? Because technically he's a living thing, right? Or is he not a thing? Or is he not living? And would she be also the teacher and the students in Ganesh's class?
Now, you see, I just done a story. And I do this story in hundreds of schools. I do it regularly. I'm tired of telling the story, but such a good story from the Purana, from the legendary stories. The moment I tell the story, the English boys go, they love Ganesh. And they love the idea you can't hurt other living things. Let me give you an example. At one school, I did the story, and I came away. I got a phone call from the headmistress. She said, "What have you done to the children?" I said, "What have I done? I did Hinduism story." She said, "That changed." They were such a rowdy lot. Whenever we have playtime in the school, they would go out in the garden. They're all supposed to play. If they saw a snail, little snail with a little shell, they thought it was funny to step on it and make it go crunch. They thought it was funny. Today they went out to play in the garden. They saw a snail. They bent down and went, "Hello, mommy." Now, why am I telling this story in the power of narrative? Well, I just told you, the Upanishad talks about you as a spirit. You are the spark of God. Everybody is spark of God. Teaches this high philosophy. You are the Atman. And you're already falling asleep on me. I saw it. I saw you all falling asleep. Oh, what is he on about? When I do the story of Ganesh and the cat and the mother goddess living in every living thing, you will light up saying, yes, that makes sense. See the power of narration, power of storytelling. The same ideas of Atman and Brahman, which appear abstract and too difficult to understand, become digestible because I presented it through a story of Ganesh, through Purana. So you fall in love with Ganesh, you fall in love with the idea of reverence for life. Oh, life is special, is sacred. It comes naturally. If I told you, given a lecture, always be careful, you won't understand. If I told the children, don't hurt the snail, they say, oh yeah. The moment I went out, they would step on the snail. If I do the story of Ganesh and the mother god, they go, this is such a lovely story. And they go, mommy, everywhere, mommy. They see God everywhere. See the power of storytelling. So even though stories come with health warnings, they continue to be a very powerful tool. So when you see in the Asta TV all these kathas going on, they're using the narrative to draw you to religion and to the higher ideas of philosophy of Hinduism. So relate to the kathas, relate to the storytelling, but remember to grow out of kathas, out of storytelling, into the philosophy of Hinduism. So it's nice to be brought up on the story of Ganesh and the cat. But when you become 20-year-old, 15-year-old, it is necessary to move from the storytelling, go into the Upanishads and study the Upanishads and the philosophic heart of Hinduism about Atman and Brahman, without the storytelling, without the colors. It is necessary for you to grow up and mature. Most Hindus I come across, they may be 35, 40-year-old with a moustache, but intellectually they are babies. So they are babies with moustache. I'm not joking. I meet them and I talk to them and they say, no, but this happened. I said, but think for yourself. No, it happened, Mr. Lakhani. You see, this is the problem. We continue to storytelling is nice, but at some stage you must grow out of it, become more mature, and go from the storytelling to the philosophic heart of Hindus. And most Hindus struggle. You may think it's easy. It is not easy. I'm struggling myself to shift them, and move them, give them a thump a little bit, like Ganesh. Give them a little bit of thump and say, move on, grow up.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly which Hindu he's talking about. I'm assuming it's more along the lines of those who live outside of outside of just cities in general. I mean, like who still lives in like very small villages and stuff. Can't exactly blame them. I mean, again, I won't say like much like America, but India is a very large country. Even when Sadhguru talks about how there are some Indian people out there who do not know what India is, or that they're even Indian as well, because what is it? I won't say the development, but the idea or the idea of the country itself probably hasn't expanded throughout all of India. There are very much still some isolated places, or places that who cares kind of deal. Like, okay, we're part of India. What does that change in my life? Nothing. So what's the point? Because they're not attached to, I guess, the, how do I say this? The government, the I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but there's still a disconnect there because they see themselves as only part of the village. That's the most important thing to them. And this idea of India doesn't really matter because it doesn't help them. And it really can't at the moment because, again, India being a very big country, or any country that's very big in general, will struggle to, especially if it's still developing, it will definitely struggle to try to encompass all of its people, just because if you have a very hilly region and the country's so big, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to take time. And you can't blame people who loves the stories and that's the only thing they hear. The Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita are not exactly easily accessible necessarily. I mean, to a lot of the people in developed areas, yeah, it's relatively easy, and those people in, again, like developed areas like major cities and stuff, yeah, it's probably readily available. But again, if you've never heard of it, you've only ever heard the stories are very easily passed down to generation, so that's the only thing you hear. And what is it, you don't have libraries, you don't have the internet, you don't have electricity for some parts probably, because again, these are just kind of like, I won't say luxuries, but it becomes, people in modern day, those are necessities. But it is in a lot of sense a luxury. But it's become so common that it's become kind of a necessity. But anyway, hopefully you understand my point. Like, it's not fair to kind of people who live in villages and stuff to have access to modern education, or even maybe even have time to worry about that, because a lot of villages are kind of self-sufficient. They can survive on their own because they have people that are dedicated to farming, etc. And sadly enough, much like when humanity is in its younger years, education was for survival purposes. You don't need to read and write. You just need to know how to do your job, what your family has taught you. If your father was a farmer, your sons were going to be farmers, just because a farmer knows how to farm, and then he can pass that along to his kids. So, again, I get what he's trying to say. Perhaps, depending on, I don't know which Hindus he's talking about, but I hope it's understandable.
Let this faculty kick in. Can this truly be true? Think about it. Let me just tell you the story. For example, the story of Ganesh. It caught your attention. You said, yep, got it. And when I went to one English school, one English girl said, Mr. Lakhani, this can't be true, can it? I said, how do you know? He said, because if that was actually true, there are so many people being hurt around the world all the time. Mother Goddess will be bleeding all over the place. It can't be really true, can it? I said, shh, you're grown up. You moved away from the storytelling to the philosophy. I use this colorful story to put across a very important idea. But you understood the power of storytelling and you've grown out of it. You see the limitation of the story. It can't be literally true. But suppose you tell him, I've grown up into this is not literally true. Oh no, how dare you? Then you have lost it. This thing is not kicked in yet. Allow this to kick in. Religion, which is purely emotive, is purely emotional, without the use of intelligence, or without the use of rationality, can become counterproductive. Make you look like an idiot. When you go to university and you insist these are real stories, you look like a completely outdated person. You can't relate to people of other religion or people who are rationally oriented. You can't relate. You distance yourself. So you hide in your own corner and kind of isolate yourself. My own little group singing bhajan. You will just stay there. You will not interact with the greater society, because you decided to partition yourself away from the rest of community by sitting and just not allowing yourself to grow from your own stories.
I mean, again, yeah, I completely understand what Lakhani is trying to talk about here, but it is kind of hard, especially people who have deep-rooted beliefs and stuff. But you have to. I don't know if kindness is the right way to do it, but there's a famous saying that you can attract bees with honeys as opposed to vinegar. Meaning that, when you taste honey, it tastes really good. When you taste vinegar, it's like, ugh. I like vinegar, so you track me with both ways. Like vinegar, oh, it burns. Mm. But so just to be compassionate and to try to be, I don't want to say open, but be understanding of his perspective. So long as it's not, belligerent or aggressive, people are willing to open up. People can change their minds. Um, I do wonder what he told the young lady though. It's like, okay, yes, you know it's a story, but there's a philosophy behind it. The idea behind it is what you need to get to. When you're young kids, the ideas come from stories that are very colorful, as Lakhani would say. And then as you get older, the colorfulness is the philosophy, the idea behind the story. It's the same thing, understood differently. Or it's the same thing and understood the same, but of course, different storytelling. I do wonder what he did tell the girl though. It's like, oh, you got it. It's not true. All right, it's like you're gonna tell her that, like, hey, look, it's you got it, but it's the philosophy behind it that that you're Atman Brahman, and that when you are we're all the sparks of life, as he says there, and that when you harm someone else, you're harming yourself as well. And hopefully I don't know if this is a true story, but hopefully she follows through with the philosophy part of it. Although she's very young, so I doubt it. At least, when they're young. Anyways, that's my reaction to how Mata Parvita. Oh my god. I practiced this a little bit before reacting. Parvati taught Ganesh a lesson. Man, what did I say before? I knew Parvati. Parvati? Anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.